Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream. This is a transfer tips video for Double Game Week 36. It is the buy, sell, hold, ignore series. We hope we hope everyone's well, and yeah, we're gonna get into it. How you doing, Jordan? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. We're coming up to almost near the end of the season. It's gonna be over before we know it. But yeah, Double Game Week 36. Let's hope it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a big double ahead. A few teams doubling. So we thought season's about to end as well soon. So not long to go with these videos, transfer tips videos. But yeah, we've got Hamza in the chat who says, "Hi, what's up? What are you saying, guys? I hope you're well." But yeah, let's pull up our players and discuss what the plans are really in terms of who we've selected to buy. First one up it is Callum Wilson. Now, Callum Wilson has 27 appearances for the season, 9 off the bench. He has also 15 goals and 4 assists. So he has scored a very good amount of goals, really, if you look at it in terms of minutes as well, because he does come off the bench a lot. He doesn't start many games. Expected goals per 90, 0.75. And again, with Newcastle, we know they have that double game week. So the priority will be to target doublers, a la Newcastle and Brighton assets. So Newcastle have Leeds away, which looks like that could be a very nice fixture. Also Brighton at home. Now, there is a debate. I will quickly move on to the second buy because it's another obvious one. So I'm going to mix these in together, the two buys. So Wilson is the first buy, and obviously Isak, his teammate, is the second buy. But sticking on Wilson for now, he's priced at 7.1 million. And obviously there's people in a position where they have to pick one or the other. If you are in that position, I am actually slightly leaning toward Isak now, because when I watched the game again on the highlights, I feel like Isak was a bit more involved. I think Wilson is a better pick if he starts, but in terms of minutes, who do I think will play more minutes in the two games? I think Isak, personally. I might be wrong. That's just a guess. Because Newcastle is an early kickoff against Leeds on Saturday, hopefully we hear some early team news. If we do, then make your decision from there. But in my opinion, I think Isak might play more in the minutes in the two. But Wilson is the better pick, I think, if minutes are the same. So yeah, Leeds and Brighton, 15 goals, 4 assists. What's your thoughts on Wilson, Jordan? And obviously the second pick that we've got, Isak. We might as well do them together because they are kind of interlinked, because most people are either going to bring one in, or in some case where I think it could be worth bringing both in.
Yeah, big, massive talking point, Wilson and Isak in this double game week 36 of who we bring in and who we can not bring in. And frankly, I still think obviously both are winning, it's worth going for both if you can. But with Wilson, I find like this is going to be weird, but I kind of want him to be benched, because when he comes on, he has more success. It feels like I don't think he has more of success when he plays from the very start in matches, which is crazy to think. Where he's like a clutch player when he's off the bench, and then he comes on the pitch, and you can see him always in that position to maybe score goals more than rather when he starts off the match. And as well as I've been pretty biased as well in the past with Wilson, obviously from his injury issues that he has. But I think for the sake of this game week 36, I think it is worth bringing Wilson in. And if you can, Isak as well. And even for -4 here, I'd probably still do it if you could possibly do it, because there's 2 double game week fixtures. Not many teams have doubles anymore, and you want to take advantage of these doubles while they're still left obviously near the end of the season now. And at the ownership, Wilson is still relatively low owned. Obviously, he's going to rise above 10% and etc. come closer to the double. But he is one to jump on if you're considering the price rises as well. He is currently 7.1. And if you are tight for money, obviously you want to get in there before the price rise, but
Yeah.
always be wary of coming in too early. But yeah, I think Wilson is like a pretty good buy, I think, for this double game, and going to be the ultimate appealing pick to go for between the two.
Yeah, I was also going to add that if you could get to both with like a -4, I probably think it is worth it. You know. Sorry, I just keep sneezing off stream, but bear with me. Just my allergies and my hay fever have been playing up a lot over the weekend, so yes, a bit annoying. But hold on. Yes. So yeah, we do recommend you buy Wilson and Isaac for this double game week. They're the first ones out the way. Let's go into some players we think you should sell. And first one up is actually Tony. We'll put Tony on this list. What's to say about Tony? He's actually had a very, very good season. 20 goals and 4 assists. I remember there was rumors that came out weeks ago that Tony was going to miss games due to his the betting situation. That hasn't happened. It's all gone a bit quiet, but it looks like Tony's going to play a full season. So he does have West Ham, Tottenham, and City. The fixtures aren't too great. You look at it on paper. West Ham have improved a bit. Obviously, beating United 1-0. Tottenham, another tough game, I think. But I can still see Tony scoring, to be fair, against Spurs. But it's not a game where you'd expect a lot of goals, maybe. I don't know. And then City, we know it's going to be a tough one. But the reason why Tony's a sell is because he's taken up a forward spot where, at 7.4 million, he's an easy swap to someone like a Wilson or an Isak. So that's why he is a sell. Would you agree, Jordan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now we're coming to the end of the season. Now we have to really pick and choose wisely who we're going to bring in and obviously who we're going to take out. And we've obviously gone for Tony as a sell because he obviously has no doubles, as we mentioned beforehand as well. The fixtures get more tougher, as we've seen West Ham win over Man United. So they are fighting as well. There's some fight in West Ham just to keep away from that relegation and stay above it. Obviously, they're pretty safe now, but they obviously want to finish as high as they can. And with Brentford, they're pretty fair sailing. They haven't really got much to play for, really. They're sort of like in the middle of the table, which there's no real purpose for them to really go for anything. And even though Tony's been great this season, 20 goals and 4 assists, and he has a weird sort of binary to him as well. He scores in one game, doesn't score in the other game, and then scores in the next game. So he's on and off in terms of returns as well, which is quite interesting. Mm-hmm. But I think for this moment in time in this season, we're looking to sell Tony, I think, and obviously bring in doublers like Wilson or Isaac as forwards.
All right, moving on to the final sell. And that is another striker because our 2 buys included 2 Newcastle forwards. We're going to need the money to fund it. And a lot of us do have Watkins in our team. I do. I think you do as well, Jordan. Yep. Watkins, 14 goals, 6 assists. He's gone on a little hot streak recently. Obviously, since Emery's come in, he's done brilliant, scoring a lot of goals. But then again, you look at the fixtures, Spurs, Liverpool, Brighton, they're not the easiest of games. Saying that, obviously, Brighton did concede 5 to Everton. However, we would prefer the double game week players over Watkins at this current moment in time. 7.5 million. I think it's obvious again. He's pretty similar to Tony. Why he's a sell? It's due to bringing up double game week players. Now there's not long to go. Now there's only 3 game weeks, and we want to maximize now the double game weeks. What's your thoughts on it, Jordan? Assuming it's all the same, similar to Tony, while we're selling Watkins as well.
Yeah, I think it's even more good reason to sell Watkins as he has been a bit off form, as well as Aston Villa, come off a 1-0 loss to Wolves, including that as well. So Watkins has been on many blanks now. It seems Aston Villa have sort of gone on a downward spiral in terms of their form now. They seem to be losing matches where you'd think they'll win them, and Watkins is not getting the points anymore. So this is all the more reason now we can actually get rid of Watkins, as we don't feel like he's really going to excel, especially in these matches he has left. Tottenham at home, I know they've struggled, but it's still a tough game. Liverpool as well, that's a tough game at Anfield, and you've got Brighton at home, which you can say is a tough one as well for Ollie Watkins and Aston Villa. So yeah, I think Watkins can be an easy sell, obviously, to fund for the forwards like Isak and obviously Wilson. So yeah, same reason.
All right, let's move on to some players that we think you could be looking to hold on to for another game week or so. And the first one up is actually Rashford. Now, Rashford has been transferred out by quite a few managers, so we thought that's the reason why we put him on this list. 33 appearances. Rashford does have 16 goals and 5 assists. I think some managers have been maybe frustrated at Rashford's lack of returns in recent game weeks, where I think he's only got 2 goals in the last 9 or 10 games. However, I still think Rashford is a hold. You take a look at the fixtures. He's got Wolves at home. So Man United are a lot stronger at home than they are away. So that's why I think Wolves could be a game where he could bounce back and score. And then the main reason why you'd keep him is because he has a double game week in 37 against Bournemouth and Chelsea. So looking at that double game week, sandwiched between 2 home games against Fulham and Wolves, I think Rashford is an easy hold for me, especially at that price and the doubles. He has gone off, the goal scoring streak, but I think I'm going to persevere with him and give him a few more games and see how he does, especially that double. What's your take on it, Jordan? Obviously, Man United are struggling for goals, but Rashford is the main source if they are to get goals.
Yeah, Rashford is still I'll say, an asset you would still want to hold on to for the rest of the season, and especially for the double they got in 37. You don't want to be taking out Rashford before that double, and I'll say it's pretty arguably a decent double. Bournemouth away and then Chelsea at home, even though Man United's away form has been pretty bad. They have a lot to play for, because obviously that loss in their last game closes the gap, obviously between Liverpool as well, who are sitting in 5th place, but they're only, I'll say, 1 match away from overtaking either Newcastle or Man United. So it's important now that Man United win the rest of their games, or at least their next 3.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll be in big trouble. They could lose out on their Champions League spot and obviously drop down to bottom, or drop down further than 4th. So it's a lot to play for Man United, and I do expect Rashford to obviously get back onto the form, as he is the provider of goals, as we've mentioned, and obviously do much better Man United in these fixtures. Wolves at home, and then obviously the double and then Fulham at home. So 3 home fixtures for Man United left, and I expect them to do well at Old Trafford.
Yeah, they need 3 wins now out of 4, so they need to go on a winning streak now. Moving on then to another hold, and that is Gakpo. He's been transferred out by a few managers as well. So we thought we'd put him on the list. 18 appearances, 3 off the bench, 6 goals, 2 assists. Liverpool don't have any double game weeks left. They've only got 3 games. They can only get up to 71 points now if they win their remaining 3. They've got Leicester away, they've got Aston Villa at home, and then they've got Southampton away. Looking at it on paper, there are good single game week fixtures. Leicester have just conceded 5 to Fulham. Aston Villa at home at Anfield, you expect Liverpool to get the job done, but that may not be the easiest game. The Aston Villa have slightly dropped off in recent weeks, and then Southampton again, they could be relegated by then. So will they have much to play for? I'm not sure. So you'd expect Liverpool to now win 3 out of 3. I think if you have Gakpo, you probably just keep him. It looks like he will come back into the team and start against Leicester. He's a nice differential at 6.1% owned, 7.7 million. If I had Gakpo, I would be tempted to hold him. If you want to sell him for a doubler like a Rashford, I understand why you'd want to go Rashford because he has a double. But I think as a differential, and as you said, there's only 3 game weeks left. There's no other a good differential like a Gakpo I don't see in the top team right now, in the top 6 team that I'd be going for. So I do like Gakpo as a differential for the end of the season. And I do believe he will play majority of the minutes because Liverpool look a lot better with him than without him currently. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I think, especially for this moment in the season where we're near the end, you want to hold on to these differentials, especially if you want to get yourself high on the ranks, because if you go for template and obviously players that are high owned, it's going to be hard to really climb near the end of the season now. And obviously Gakpo is a nice example of a differential at 6.1%. He's not highly owned. He's a bit pricey and he uses a midfield spot. But if he is to do well in these last 3 matches, which is all possible because Leicester, they're struggling. They have something to fight for though. Aston Villa have lost to Wolves, so you expect to win from that game and Gakpo to be involved. Hopefully he starts. And obviously Southampton look pretty much relegated, you would say. It would be very hard for them to climb out of relegation now. So there won't be much to fight for Southampton. But these few fixtures, I think, for Gakpo are really good. I think if he plays in at least two of these three, he can still have a good game because he is a decent player for Liverpool. And his 6 goals and 2 assists from only 18 appearances and 3 coming off the bench, I'll say that's a pretty good record for him, considering he hasn't played a full season.
Yeah, of course, he only signed in January, so I think next season we'll see what, if Gakpo will become an option in FPL, possibly. Moving on to finally, then let's look at some players that we think you should ignore. First one up is actually Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, this one is very controversial, I think, because, well, maybe, I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the chat if you guys think this is controversial, because Trent has played 34 appearances, 1 goal, 8 assists. Those 8 assists, I think 6 of them or 7 of them have come in his last 6 games. So we know how Trent started off the season. Liverpool conceding a lot of goals. Trent not playing particularly well in that right back slot. But since Liverpool have changed, the shape and gone to this inverted role, Trent has become an assist magnet. Really, he's now got 8 assists, which is one of the most. I think that is the most for a defender in the league now. I believe if he just overtook Trippier, I'm not sure, but he doesn't have any doubles left. So Leicester, Villa, Southampton, these are pretty nice single game week fixtures for Liverpool. So Trent could definitely get a haul in these games. He's priced at 7.6 million, so he's quite expensive. However, a lot of people have Trippier, who had the double. A lot of people have Botman or another Newcastle player that has a double. And some of us have a Dunk or an Estupiñán as well in defense. So that's the triple double game week player defense. If you're in that scenario and you've got 3 doublers in defense, I've seen a lot of teams that are benching Trent potentially, which could obviously, it could go back. It could backfire quite badly with the way Trent's playing right now, and he can easily get a haul against Leicester, clean sheet, goal maybe, or an assist, and then he gets like a 9-pointer, 10-pointer. So let me know, guys. Are you going to be playing triple double game with players like Brighton, Newcastle defense, or are you going to go with Trent? Because at this moment in time, I was going to bench. I was actually going to bench Trent, but due to an injury to Solly March, I may just have to play Trent now and just leave it like that rather than take a -4 to bring in another doubler. But we'll talk about that in the team selection. But for us, Trent is an ignore, just on the basis that you don't have him. If you are looking to bring in a defender, it's very hard because we planned this video yesterday, and then obviously since then Brighton have conceded 5 goals to Everton. A lot of us would be playing a stupid. And now this one is your call, but for now, if we are targeting doublers and we want to play the upside, we're ignoring Trent and playing Estupiñán in defense. So that is why he's an ignore. What's your thoughts on it, Jordan? If you've got, for example, I'll give you an opinion. You may disagree. If you've got Estupiñán, who's got a double, or Trent with a single, who are you playing? Or even a Newcastle double?
Ideally, you play the double because they're playing their extra fixture. So in theory, that means they could outscore a single gaming player like Trent. But then it's hard to debate that because the way Trent's been so far in this part of the season, he has sort of recovered and gained a bit of momentum. And just to answer the question, he has got the most assists now as a defender. He has overtaken Trippier by 1 assist because Trippier is on 7. So yeah, he's it's pretty scary, I think, if you're benching Trent to see what he does against, obviously, Leicester away in a single, especially the way they struggled in the season so far, especially losing to, I think, Everton as well. So, yeah, it is very daunting, I would say, for Trent to be benched, but then again, it could end well.
Yeah, obviously let us know in the chat because Damien's saying he's playing Trent ahead of his Brighton defender. So, at the last start of the game week, I was thinking I'm going to play Estupiñán, but injury may have forced me to play Trent. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the final ignore, and that is Riyad Mahrez. Now, Mahrez is actually an ignore because he did score, or he got a nice 10-pointer for me. I did bring him in, but we've put Mahrez as an ignore. But this could actually change because this was dependent on Champions League. And because we're just looking at the Man City right now, Mahrez is actually on the bench tonight for Man City's important game against Real Madrid. So what that could mean is Mahrez actually starts against Everton. So potentially he could end up being a buy. But you look at game week 37, I don't know if I'd be buying Mahrez because he may miss out. I mean, I think he will miss out in one of the double game weeks. I don't think he'll play both games. So in that sense, he will take up a slot where he won't potentially play that double. And I'd rather go with someone with safer minutes ahead of Mahrez. But, against Everton at home, he should play that game, you think, and he could be a really good pick anyway. Luckily for me, I bought him in early, so I've got the 10 point in game week 35 anyway. And if he starts again 36, lovely, and I'll take him out in case in for the double potentially. But 5 goals, 9 assists for Mahrez. He didn't ignore due to potentially not being available for both the double game week 37 fixtures. Would you agree, Jordan?
Yeah, as we've seen with rotation for Man City midfielders, it is a roll of the dice, and that includes Mahrez as one of them. So he is at risk at not starting in both those doubles, as well as not knowing how many minutes he'll play in that double either. But hopeful for those who own Mahrez, he gets good minutes in both matches and obviously gets returns in them. But for this current moment, he's obviously ignored. Even though he's got Everton at home, but on the basis of obviously him being starting in this Real Madrid game tonight, which obviously isn't happening because he's on the bench, is dependable obviously on why he's an ignore. But yeah, if you didn't bring him in early like Huss did and got the points already, then he would be a hold. But if you don't have Mahrez, then obviously he is an ignore.
Yep. So let's recap very quickly. The 2 buys are Wilson and Isak. You should sell Tony and Watkins. You should hold on to Rashford and Gakpo. And you should ignore Trent and Mahrez. So those are the 8 players for the buy, sell, hold, ignore series. Let us know what you guys think with our picks. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you are enjoying the content and you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button and also make sure you are subscribed to our channel as well. Nanjay says this was a really underwhelming game week. Yeah, it was. Fairly low scoring, which we didn't expect. But we'll go into all of that on Thursday and show you how we did in the end. We've got Stuart Webb. Welcome. He says up to 6K. Well done. Any advice for the last 3 weeks? Well, I was in a position last season, if I want to take it back to me as well, so I got up to 3K last season, around game week 16, I think. Was it not as far into the season as you was, but around game week 16, game week 17, I got up to around 3K rank. And one advice I would have for managers, when you get to that level, when you get 3K, or you're in the top 10K, what I would advise is make sure you just you don't just play it safe, if that makes sense. Because what I did when I got into the top 3K, I started playing safe and making my transfers, rolling transfers, and thinking, I look good, my team looks fine. Maybe played it too safe, and then what happens was, I came tumbling down afterwards. And I still think you still got to take the same risks when you're up in that top 10K and having a couple of differentials in there. But that's what I found out when I was in that 3K rank. I played it too safe, I feel like. Johnny in the chat as well says, yo guys. Damien says, I think the only issue this week is captaincy. Yeah, Jordan, what do you think of captaincy, just very quickly?
Yeah, big talking point captaincy, because it's divided. Do you go for double game play or do you go for Haaland? Because obviously Haaland has Everton, but obviously the doubles will have an extra fixture over Haaland. I think for me personally, I'm going to captain a doubler, and that's either going to be Wilson or Isak for me. Just because even though Haaland has the possibility of scoring a hat-trick, it's always possible. I just think there's more upside in of captaining a person that has more than one fixture, because so you got that second chance. If they get anything in the first one, then whatever they get in the second one is pretty much a bonus, and hopefully Haaland doesn't have a mega haul, obviously, in his single game fixture. But yeah, I think I'm going to go different as well, just to get the rank rise as well. I am climbing and chasing, so I want to try and do something different rather than going with Haaland, which I think a divided opinion a lot of people will go for.
Johnny also says, so doubling up on Isaac and Wilson for free is 100% worth it. I think that's worth it, probably, if you can go there.
It's definitely worth it. Just bear in mind, it is risky at the same time because these are two players that are susceptible to injuries.
Yeah, well, mainly Wilson is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it could be worth it still. I am playing Trent instead of the Brighton defender as well. I am starting Trent and Mahrez. I think I'm going to be starting Trent and Mahrez as well, Liam, especially now March is injured. I did -4 for Grealish to Mahrez just before deadline after hearing Grealish was benched. Yeah, I was the exact same. I did that move and it paid off so far. I'm starting Trent, Mahrez, and Alvarez and benching March. I think I'm going to be in the same boat. I don't think it's worth taking a -4, but we'll talk about that more in depth on Thursday. I thought Man City v Everton was an away game.
It is an away game.
Sorry, yep, just a little error. Thanks for spotting that. And what about Salah captain? Salah has Leicester. Look, I think Salah could be a good captain, but I think I do side towards a doubler. And even if I was going for a single game play, I think I'd prefer Haaland against Everton. So yeah, but look, if you are chasing and you 300k, 400k, I would be tempted potentially with the Salah to be very different. But yeah, I don't think I'll be captaining Salah. But yeah, that is it from us, guys. This has been the transfer tips video for Double Game Week 36. We hope you've enjoyed the content, the videos, I should say. But we'll be back again Thursday. As always, team selection video, 7 p.m. UK time. I'm actually going to go watch the Man City Champions League game against Real Madrid. Should be a massive game. Should be a good game as well. So I'm looking forward to watching that. But yeah, that's it from us. Tune in on Thursday. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
Well, I hope Real Madrid win. But have obviously enjoyed the rest of your week, and hopefully you've got over the horrible game week that we just had. But yeah, take care, guys, and we'll see you in the team selection.
Yep, take care, guys, and see you soon.